What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ask PJ with, you know who I am, and I have a very special guest in the studio today. I'm going to hype her up a little bit because she saved the day, which is a Tuesday, by the way. So this is Wendy Crosby, and her Instagram is Wendy JC. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Why is it Wendy JC, by the way?
Okay, so my first name is obviously Wendy, and then my middle name is Jacqueline. My last name is Crosby, so it's like my initials, as in JC.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because as far as Instagram goes, and I'm like this too, I almost never know people's real names anymore unless they use their real name on Instagram.
Yeah, everybody's always telling me they're like, or like if people come up to me anywhere, they're like Wendy Jace, like, or
Yes.
I'm like, that's fine, that works too.
It's funny because now that I've done business with you and I know your name, I've been like, oh, I have Wendy Crosby coming in. She's really sweet. She's really pretty. And they're like, ooh, who's that? I don't see her anywhere. And I'm like, we use her all the time. I'm like, the girl that did the bikinis. And they'll say like, oh, Wendy Jace, or they'll say it right. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's her Instagram name. So I think personally that if you really want to get your name out there to everybody that's listening, I've been saying this for years, use your actual name. Anytime you use something very fancy, which her name is Wendy, at least people get that part out. But like a lot of these guys come up with these crazy weird names. Like I'll meet kids at shows and they'll be like, hi, it's Anthony. I'm your big fan. I'll be like, hey, Anthony, how are you? And they're like, thank you for your message. And I'll be like, what's your name? And they're like, Killer 187. And I'm like, oh, Killer 187. Of course. I talk to you all the time. Use your real name.
Yeah, some people's Instagram names sometimes I'm just like, what was going through your head when you made this like name? What was going through your process? Like I've had some dumb names like when it came to like Twitter and MySpace and all that, but then I was just like, no, we gotta keep it a little bit better.
Yeah, because you want people to know your actual name. And then sometimes the sad thing is, I don't know if this has ever happened to you before, but sometimes your name is taken by somebody else, which is the worst.
Yeah. Or like I have like a couple of friends, like they'll put their name, but then they have to add like 7 numbers after it. And it's
Underscore,
like
yeah.
3 underscores, don't forget the period. And it's just like, that's just
It's
too
such
much.
a pain in the ass. That's our little Instagram banter for you guys in the beginning. So we have a condensed amount of time. So I want to get into some bullet points. First, I'm just going to talk about why she saved the day. So I had a photo shoot scheduled, and it was canceled last minute, and I was pretty bummed out about it. And Ryan Loco is such an awesome guy that I could cancel a photo shoot last minute. He's not going to charge me. He'll never get mad. We've been doing shoots for years, but that's just not good business. And so I told him, I was like, hey, I think the photo shoot's canceled tomorrow. I apologize. And he was like, no big deal, bro. And I was like, it is a big deal, though. And I just happened to be scrolling on Instagram at that portion of the day, and I saw that Wendy was in Florida. And so I messaged her. Well, first I messaged her because she has dark hair now, which blew my mind. And people always say that they know that I'm partial to brunettes, and she's beautiful with blonde hair. But now with the dark hair, I'm loving the dark hair. Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, it was a big change. I needed it. I was blonde for about 8 years, and I just felt like moving to a new city where mainly everybody was already blonde, but naturally, I'm not blonde, obviously. And I just felt like I was not really like sticking out compared to like the other girls because everybody was super white, complex, and just naturally blonde. So I was like, I think this is the perfect time for me to finally change my hair, get it a little bit healthier, and just kind of do a new look.
And are you happy?
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, a bunch of people have already reached out to me about it too. So
Oh gosh.
you got people paying attention. So I saw that she was down here, and I said, hey, are you in Florida? And she was like, yeah, just it's my last day. And I'm like, damn, I wish that you told me. And she goes, actually, I reached out to you, but it was when you were really sick. And I'm like, damn. I go, we could have at least capitalized on this. And I said, we'll set up another time unless you want to stay an extra day. And she said, I'll stay an extra day. So we switched some things around, brought her up, did the shoot with Ryan Loco, did some fun, behind the scenes stuff that you guys will see. And it worked out really great because we have a couple of new women's items that are coming out. So we needed graphics for those anyway. And Wendy has her own bathing suit company. She's a bikini company called, what's it called? Tell everyone.
It's called XO Sweet Cheeks.
And you guys know about it already because the last suits that I just blasted out were from Wendy. And I told you guys a story that when we first started, She started posting for us. She went above and beyond. And I had told her, I go, look, if you post hard for me, I will do things to help you out. And I reached out to her and I said, I'm so proud of how much you've been doing. Let's talk about your suits. And she said, well, I don't have a lot left. I'm going to move on to some new stuff. I said, well, how much do you have left? She said, I don't know, 70, 80. And I was like, I'll buy the rest. And I said, give me a good wholesale rate and we'll put all the girls in and we'll give you some hype. They freaking sold out super fast. They sold out in a matter of like a couple hours.
I was so like, I was at the mall and I just kept refreshing it. And I was just like, oh my gosh. It was just like such a good moment for me. And I'll forever grateful for you.
I was like bummed that we didn't have like twice as much because a lot of people didn't get them.
Well,
now we have the new stuff
is.
though. All right, so we're going to backtrack a minute because I want you guys to learn about what a cool girl Wendy is. So you are from Dallas?
I live in Dallas, but I'm from El Paso.
So this is so interesting. Over the years, we have worked with so many, whether it be demo reps or models or athletes that are from the El Paso area, and they're always like Latina. What is it with that area?
Well, it's a border city. It literally takes you about 5 minutes to get to Mexico. My parents are actually from Mexico, so everybody there speaks Spanish. And if you don't speak Spanish and you're like super white, it's because you're probably military.
Yes.
Since we have Fort Bliss right there. But El Paso is just so rich in the culture and everything is just so amazing. Obviously, the Mexican food is unmatched. I cannot get really good Mexican food in Dallas, and it breaks my heart.
What is like the staple like good Mexican food?
Obviously, you have like good taco spots, like little hole in the walls. Like when you're hungover, you get menudo or pozole.
Oh, you're getting all Spanish with us. I like that. You can talk the whole episode like that.
No.
When I went to, I did an event in Guadalajara, and the place that we stayed at, the guys were like huge bodybuilding fans, so they just made us whatever we wanted the whole time. But I was like, I want like traditional. But since we were bodybuilders, they kind of like fitnessed it up, and they were making us like fish tacos, like so good. It was awesome. I had the best time there. So I think I've heard many people say like, depending on where you're from, like whether it's where you're from, certain parts of like New Mexico that have a lot of Mexican culture, they say it's hard to get good Mexican food once you start going north.
Yeah, I just feel like since El Paso is so good because it's obviously a border city, so also like going to like Arizona and like places like that, San Diego, you can get good Mexican food also. It's just being a border city, it's just so good because people are always like back and forth. Either they have their business in El Paso and they live in Juarez or vice versa.
And you're 100% Mexican?
Yes.
But you were born here?
Yeah, I was born in El Paso.
Oh, that's awesome. So we have full 100% Mexican, beautiful model on the team today, who, like I said, saved the day, has her own business. But like I said, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Growing up down there in El Paso, when did you start getting into fitness?
So I always have been an athlete all my life. I was a competitive gymnast since I was like 5 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then...
Can you still do the moves?
Probably. I'll probably like hurt myself because I transitioned into competitive cheer, and then I just got so many injuries after that.
Were you like one of the girls that gets like thrown around, or were you one of like the base girls?
Oh, I do both.
Oh, really?
I thought it was fun. I like being very resourceful because usually like the flyers, they never want to do anything else, and I like carrying girls up. It made me feel strong.
Oh, so you're strong and you
Yeah.
can move. I like that.
Exactly.
See? You're a jack of many trades, as they say. Checking my phone to make sure that we're moving at a good pace. We can't have her miss her flight, so we crammed this in fast. So you were playing sports, you were cheering. Did your high school have like a weight room or anything like that?
Yeah, so in high school, I actually was doing cheer, but for a city team, and then I was just running track. So I did hurdles, and I had a shoulder dislocation when I was a junior, so I had surgery my senior year, and yeah, I couldn't like keep doing much. So that's when I started my rehab process. I started going to the gym all the time, like with my brother, and he started teaching me how to do things. And I kind of just fell in love with like going to the gym and like wanting myself to look good. My friend asked me if I wanted to do a competitive show, and I said, yeah, what's to lose? I actually did not know about this whole industry,
Yeah.
what shows were. I had no idea. I kind of thought it would be like a pageant, but like with shiny bikinis.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I'm all about it. Okay, why not? And then, oh my gosh, I was 18 years old, and I didn't have a trainer. All I did was go to a coach for my posing, and that's it. Like, I trained myself. I did my diet. I did everything else.
Wow.
And my first show was the Europa Games in Phoenix. I did not know it was like one of those
Yeah, it's a big
big
show.
shows.
Mhm.
Yeah. I ended up placing. I did good, and I was just like, oh, I love winning. Like, I need to keep doing this.
So wait, did you place in the top 5?
Yeah, I got there.
Oh, that's awesome. And you had no coach?
No coach.
Did you at least have somebody telling you like what to do with the tanning and all that?
Yeah. So the guy that I actually went to for posing, he was going to be at that show too with the like power lifters. So he's like, here, like, I'll like guide you. Like every time I like had pictures, like, or like he'd be like, okay, what are you looking like right now? Okay, do this. Like he helped me in my last week to my show. And if it weren't for him, I would have been a freaking mess. Like,
Oh, is he a coach?
yeah. So after that, I ended up going with him, and he trained me for a while, and it was fun. He helped me a lot with a lot of things. I don't know. I feel like everybody's body type is very different.
Of course.
I was super young. I was getting a lot of attention because I was lifting heavy, and it kind of gave me a good traction. So I feel like he wanted me to power lift, and I didn't.
Oh, totally different.
Yeah,
Totally
and
different.
yeah, so it kind of got me a little bit more bottom heavy. And for bikini, you can't look like that.
No.
These girls are really, 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 really small.
Yeah.
So my proportions are a little bit off. And my last show, I was like, yeah, I don't ever want to compete again. Like it was the only show I didn't place, but because I was so more curved out than these girls in California that are super small.
Oh, you went all the way to California?
Yeah. Every time I competed, I traveled.
So hold on a second. You did your first show when you were 18. No, you barely had any help, and you went in and you got third. Then your next show was how much later? You were doing this as a teenager?
Yeah.
Wow, you don't see that very often.
Yeah. I don't even remember when my next show was.
Did you compete out of your teens?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you competed for a couple years.
Yeah. I did up to 21. When I turned 21, I didn't compete anymore.
Did you get any first place at any shows?
No.
But you were in the mix except for the last one.
Yeah.
And the last one you were powerlifting, you got a little too thick, and you
Yeah.
were. Now they didn't have wellness yet, which wellness is all about the big lower bodies now.
I know, but and a lot of people have been asking me to get back on stage, like my old coach. And I just told him, I'm like, I don't think I ever want to step back on stage.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't really want to do it bad, there's no point doing it. It's
Yeah.
got to be like your burning passion.
Yeah,
It
that's
can't be because somebody else is telling you to do it.
yeah. And I hate the you have a really good look. Okay, well, good for that, but that's not who I want to be anymore. Like
A good look for what? For wellness?
like
or-
yeah, for wellness. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I love traveling. I love doing all these fun things that when I'm on prep, I don't want to be anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to be in my room, eating my food, taking a nap, and going to work. And
Hanging out with
that's
your
it.
little dog.
Yes, my little dog.
We'll talk about the little dog in a second. So you competed till you were 21. Now, at that point, were you doing a lot of modeling yet?
No, I had just started the modeling. I was actually with on Built Apparel's team, and when I was in town for my last show, I was in California. We actually set up a shoot for some new lines that they were coming out with, and I was with another supplement company, but I just feel like they just got people to be with them. Like they really didn't care about their athletes. So that's what I praise about you all the time. I'm like, PJ is so good with his athletes.
you.
Like he's been so personal with me. It's not even like it's just amazing for me.
And I will say this, and I'm not saying it to gas her head up. She doesn't ask for shit. And I've told her so many times, I'm like, listen, if you need anything, let me know. And she's always just like, okay. a lot of people wonder why some people get perhaps more than others. Now, part of it is because they may be doing way more than others. And the other side, I'm probably screwing myself over by saying this right now. There are certain people that just reach out to me and they're like, hey, I need help with this. I need this. Can you do this? Can you do this? And if it's somebody that I like that's doing a good job, I say, yeah, let's make it happen. I tell other people, it's out of sight, out of mind. We have thousands of athletes, and yes, I have my tier 3 athletes that I talk to a lot more. You know, there's only maybe 20 people in my tier 3 like you, and they all have my numbers. But some of the people in tier 3, they don't text me or ask me for anything either. So if I don't know what's going on, how can I help if you're not telling me?
Exactly.
But you're very, very busy anyway. You're traveling around a lot, it seems.
Yeah, I'm actually finally getting back into like the groove of things since the whole pandemic happened and we couldn't travel and all of this. So it's hopefully I can book some good like out of the country stuff and kind of just live life.
Were you doing a lot of out of the country stuff before COVID?
Yeah, so I was already kind of setting up more out of the country trips. This past year for 2020, I was supposed to go to Puerto Rico, Thailand, back to Bali,
Tulum,
Tokyo.
right? Everybody goes to
Of course,
Tulum.
to
Come on.
Tulum. But that'd be more like just like fun.
Yeah.
When I'd be going everywhere else, I want to do like shoots and get like a lot of cool content and just.
So here's some important advice, I think. Other than being pretty and having a good physique and knowing how to get yourself out there, there are so many girls that want to get into modeling. And then I see somebody like you that's shooting all the time. And some of my friends are shooting all the time. Then I have other girls that are like, I'm dying to shoot. How do you, again, obviously a look is either you look a certain way or you don't, but how do you get yourself out there?
So when I started shooting, it was with a good friend, AB. He's from back home. He is such a good photographer, like so good. And he had asked me, he's like, hey, would you ever be down to shoot? I was actually doing a shoot for a meal prep company that I worked with. And it was their photographer. So he like asked me to shoot after like our shoot. And some of those pictures just kind of blew up for me. And actually for my last show, we did like a peak week shoot, and it's like my favorite pictures that I've ever taken.
Can you show me those like later on?
Yeah, for sure. It's just after that, like, and when I was in LA shooting with Built, I was getting so much like publicity, and a lot of people were like seeing me, so it kind of started going like that. Every time I would go to like LA at least once or twice every month or two just to shoot, and like because a lot of photographers were hitting me up. Obviously a lot of raunchy people were hitting me up, but I wouldn't do it. But other ones, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of down to shoot. I want to do this.
And the ladies got to be ready because that's part of the game. There's a lot of guys out there. I always encourage people to do a little bit of research on who you're shooting with. I had a girl, I'm not going to say any names, that told me last minute who she was shooting with. I was like, oh my God, are you already there? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I wish you asked me. He's really bad news. He's like a total creeper. And she was like, well, I'm tough. I can handle myself. About an hour goes by, and she's like, oh my God, I'm like wanting to get out of here. And now because I won't do the things he wants me to do, he's like wanting to like kick me out. And I'm like, ugh. I was like, I wish you told me beforehand. I would have prevented all this.
Some guys are so weird. And like, just in the way, like, okay, when a photographer DMs me, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, do you have any like ideas in mind? Like, what's the concept do you want to go with? They'll send me stuff, and I'm like, first of all, you don't even shoot this on your page. Like, I'm looking at your work on your tag pictures. Like, why would you have to get me naked, like, to do things? Like, I'm just like, no, that's so weird. Rubs me the wrong way. Like, and I feel bad because I hear girls just like doing things because they really don't do it, or they're afraid to say no, and because they don't want to be in a uncomfortable spot, and like, you know, it's not okay. But some guys are like, well, I'm taking your picture, you got to do this for me, or it's all about the art, it's all about this. No,
you have to do what I always tell people is you do what you're okay with. So when I used to bring girls to do all the orangutan shoots, we've probably done over like 50 orangutan shoots, and they're all completely different. And sometimes people say to me like, I would love to shoot with orangutan, but I'm not like sexy like that. And I say, the girls that you see that are doing like really over the top stuff, that's their decision to do that. Now we have somebody, for instance, like Not So Little Mermaid, who's very conservative. She wanted to shoot with orangutan, but she was like, look, I'm not going to do anything straight from the back. I'm going to wear full coverage, but I do think we should get some beautiful shots. And we got freaking beautiful shots with her. And he will shoot anything, and he will make you feel comfortable, and he can do it all too. That's what a good shoot and a good photographer, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I just feel like there are so many guys that call themselves a photographer
Yeah.
just because they have a camera and they can use Photoshop. And even then, pictures don't even look good. It's all about if you're passionate, like shooting with Ryan, like he's so good. He literally saw things. He's like, do this, do this, do this. And I've worked with a couple of photographers that will just like, won't even talk to me, and they're just expect me to do everything. I'm
Yep.
like, you can't just put me on a wall, and yeah, I can do stuff, but if you're not telling me what something is looking like, whether you're telling me to fix my hair or maybe fix my strap, like little details like that are so important. And it's just, I don't know, some photographers kind of really rub me the wrong way, or they'll email me and I'm just like, I'm sorry, like our vibes are not the same. Like it wouldn't like work out for me, you know, and then they get so offensive, and yeah, it's not easy.
So how did you go from constantly shooting and traveling around and doing all this stuff to then just busting out a bikini company?
Okay, so I love traveling. I'm always taking pictures in bikinis, so I was just like, why would I not want to brand myself instead of just kind of giving everybody so much free promo? Like, why would I not want to do something for myself?
Smart, a business person.
So I've always known that I wanted to be my own boss, but I was like, I don't want to be in the fitness industry. Like, I feel like once you do that, like, you have to limit what you post, and that's not who I am. I
No.
love going to music festivals. I love going out. I obviously bartend, so it's like I can't limit my life like that. I eat whatever I want to eat. My life is just like an open book.
But you exercise a good amount. 'Cause
Yeah.
You wouldn't, I mean, genetics are one thing, but you wouldn't be as in shape the way you are.
Oh yeah, exactly. You kind of have to like sacrifice something
Yeah,
to
but
get some more out of
you're
other things.
doing specifically what makes you happy. So
Yeah.
you're eating what you want. You're working out, which you like anyway.
Yeah.
You're shooting a lot. You want to be your own boss, so you started your own business. You're in bikinis and stuff all the time. Now, do you want to do like lingerie with your company also?
Eventually, I would want to. I even want to do like guys' trunks, but I think guys' trunks, obviously, I don't wear them. So I think they're so much more complex because a girl, you can be like, here's a thong,
Yep.
go wear
The less
it.
is
You're gonna
more.
wear it, yeah. Like,
Euro trunks. That's what I want. A lot of guys are too scared to wear those though.
oh my gosh, my best friends would love them.
That's like what I prefer to wear. And like a lot of my friends will be like, oh, those are gay. And I'm like, maybe I am gay. And I'm like, why does it have to be gay to wear small shorts? I just like wearing smaller shorts. To me, that's like my favorite. I wanted to sell them on Blackstone, but a lot of the guys were like, oh, you know, you're very confident. Like most guys won't wear those. So we did like some super generic stuff. But
Yeah.
if you put out men's stuff, I'll be the first person.
I got you. I'll send them right your way.
So we blew through the first stuff. And how long ago did you start the company?
I started it. It was all like an idea that came to me when I was at work. I was like, oh my gosh, like, why would I not want to do this? And probably right before the pandemic started.
And what made you pick the name?
See, that's actually, I don't even remember how I picked it. I think,
XO Sweet Cheeks.
yeah, it's more like hugs, kisses, sweet cheeks. But I always say, like, whenever I like write out my thank you cards, I always put keep those cheeks sweet. I don't know. I think it's just
It's cute.
Yeah.
It's catchy. And are you manufacturing in the United States?
Now my stuff's overseas.
It's just so hard to do it here. I've done it all. For those of you that don't know, I've had different clothing lines. I had a women's clothing line called Celestial Bodies. We did booty scrunch pants. We did all kinds of stuff for years. And I started out manufacturing in the United States, and my original leggings were like $30. And once I started manufacturing overseas, I went down to like $8-9, and the quality was like insane.
Yeah.
And it's just you have to do a little bit more volume that way, but it's just in order to make money the way you want, you kind of have to do it like that.
Yeah. And I want to learn how to make them like handmade myself, but I think right now at this point, I don't have the time to be hand making all of them because I I'm really creative and like artsy and all that. So I know I can learn, but I'm such a perfectionist. Like if they all don't look the same or they don't like come out perfectly, I'm just like I get so frustrated.
That's good. That's how a good business person should be. You got to be like meticulous with what you do. You got to be obsessed with it. Now, we shot some stuff today. I'm going to start speeding up the conversation because I want to make sure you don't miss your flight. We shot some stuff today that's going to be available pretty soon, right?
Yeah, within at least the next 2 weeks through a month, I'm going to be dropping like consistently stuff.
And when you drop it, what I think that we should do is we have the photos that we did today. These are all yours, by the way. I'm giving them to you. You do whatever you want. But what you could do is you could tell me, hey, this is coming out, and I will blast that out on our page. Like anybody that liked the Blackstone bikinis, this is the company, XO Sweet Cheeks. This is Wendy. We love her. Help her out. Go buy some bikinis. People sometimes listen to me. They sometimes don't, but I'm going to at least put it out for you.
Thank you.
And then whatever ones are the most popular, maybe we'll have to run a little round 2 with the Blackstone bikinis again.
Hey, whatever you're down for, I'm up for it.
I mean, we got a good thing going right now. We had fun today. We cranked out some cool stuff. We got to do a little bit of stuff for me, which I always like to do in the end, just for the personal collection. And I really appreciate you coming through.
No, thank you.
Now, I have to, before we go,
Okay.
because I got people DMing me and asking me a lot. The men and a couple girls want to know, are you in a serious relationship? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a husband? Do you want nobody at all? Like, you don't have to get too deep with your answer, but inquiring minds want to know.
So at the moment, it's just me and my dog, Holly. But we all have a little situationship in the corner. So I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think that you're just too busy and driven to be in a serious relationship right now?
I think it's not that I don't want to be in a relationship. I think it's kind of hard for guys to understand that I do travel a lot and I like to live my life a little bit differently than they're probably used to. They probably get, a lot of guys are like, well, look how you post, look at this, look at that. And I'm like, first of all, it's my life. Nobody told me. Yeah. And I'm like, you knew what I did way before you
That's
met
why
me.
you started talking to me.
I'm like, that's why you fell in love.
Exactly.
I'm like, you slid in my DMs or like that. But I don't know. Everything's just kind of all up in the air. I'm not in no rush to be in a relationship. Maybe soon, maybe not. I can't.
Well, you should, as soon as this podcast comes out, you should set your page to private because boys are going to be sliding in. As soon as they hear this part, I apologize.
Oh, gosh.
My advice to, you're young, you're 25. My advice to pretty much anybody under 30, male or female, is do not worry so much about falling in love and being in a relationship and finding that somebody, because you're finding yourself. And I think in this day and age, you find yourself way, way later, because who I was at 25, way different at 30. And who I am at 40, way, 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 way different at 30. I would have done things a lot differently. And sometimes we learn a really, really hard way. So the best years of my life were when I was focusing on myself, doing what makes me happy, and just building my brand. And if you can keep on doing that, you have way less headaches. All of a sudden, things fall into place the way they're supposed to. And I tell people, you know when it happens because it just happens. You can't just force it. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
I know. Everybody always says that. But then I'm just like, I feel like I have so much going on for me that I want someone to build with. You know? You want someone to kind of be there for you.
They get in the way, though. They get in the way. They slow you down.
If they're not the one.
Even if they're the one, I've been with some bad ones. And I've also been with just, Marissa's just the best girl ever. And I always joke around that even like my best friend in the world, that I'm like, get out of my way. Sometimes that's just my personality. But I understand, of course, the desire to want to share the good times with somebody. And I may joke around a little bit excessively with it. But I'm telling you, when you're young and you have these things that you want to get done, you got to go out and you got to go hard and you got to make them happen, because you don't want to be looking back when you're 35, 40, 45 and be like, man, I wish I didn't give up at this stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I feel like also the right person's going to push you to do these things, you know?
Such a sweet attitude. I love it. I'm glad that you're not all cynical and tarnished and jaded like many people are. So
it's okay. Some people do say I don't have a heart, but
I said that earlier today. I did. I said, no, actually, I said you don't have a soul. That's actually worse.
I know that is worse.
But I was just busting her balls. She was actually very sweet and a true team player, busted her butt, didn't complain. A lot of people are very particular about her food. She said, I'll eat whatever. You give me a pizza and I'll eat it. And right then and there, I knew that this was going to be an easy day. I got to get her on a plane and get her out of here. Is there anything we missed that you want to talk about real quick?
No, I think we all got it.
Did you have a nice day today?
I had so much fun. Thank you so much. I'm truly forever grateful for you. I
you're
can
welcome.
never stop saying that, and
Thank
you know that.
Thank you. We all love you, and we're going to wrap it up. So this is episode God only knows what of Ask PJ, but I did all the asking this time with Wendy Crosby. We got to get her on a flight and get her out of here. And I love you all, and I always end the same way. Peace out. Bye.